What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hanime Fan Club. My name is Shpimpasta, I'm your host today, and joining me is none other than...
Hodor.
Exactly. Now let's start the prequel meme.
Yep. You hear the sound of the Republican march theme as we zoom in to the Jedi Temple. We see a legion of clone troopers walking through the stairs upwards into the temple, led by a dark hooded figure. We cut into the temple, where we see the Jedi getting slaughtered by the clone troopers, who are shooting with their weapons. We we see now a door opens, and the dark hooded figure from before enters. In this room is the master's room, and behind the chairs where the masters sit, there exist younglings who now come forward and ask the hooded figure,
Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going to do?
The hooded figure, revealed now as Anakin, only does say nothing and draws his lightsaber.
Oh my fucking god. This is getting more and more scuffed with each episode.
Yeah,
and we're only 3 episodes in. Fuck. Alright. Prequel memes aside. Today, Hodor and I want to talk about anime movies. That is right, because this past weekend, we went to the movie theater, and we saw Demon Slayer Mugen Train, the new movie. And we want to talk about that movie, and then we want to move on to just talk about anime movies in general, because I think both of us have some pretty strong opinions on anime movies. So I'm thinking, first, we can just talk very briefly about the Demon Slayer movie without giving away spoilers, just our thoughts, how we thought the execution was. And then after that, I will say spoiler warning, and then we can go into more detail. Okay. How does that sound, Hodor?
Yeah, so let's, of course, start with your opinion. I actually got 2 opinions here, because I actually watched the movie before I watched the series, so I can actually describe it from a newcomer's perspective. So I didn't know shit. Then I come in, watched it, then watch the series, so I can actually give what it felt like if you not watch the series.
Exactly, because this movie, I mean, to people who are in the anime community, they obviously know that Demon Slayer has been a fucking massive franchise, or... I mean, honestly, it kind of came out of nowhere and just became really big, but everybody knows about it. But to outsiders' perspective, all of a sudden there's this Demon Slayer movie that all of a sudden blows up, and we both think there are a lot of people who have no fucking idea what Demon Slayer is, but they just saw all of these headlines and just decided to watch the movie without really knowing what they were getting into. And since Hodor hadn't seen the first season when he actually watched the movie, he can give the perspective of those people. But yeah, let's get into the first spoiler-free part. Once we do start with spoilers, I will say, now we're going to start talking about spoilers, and you can skip ahead to a timestamp that will be available both on the YouTube video and in the comment section of the SoundCloud audio file. So yeah, I thought the movie was really good. I thought it was really, really entertaining, especially being a Demon Slayer movie, because honestly, I find, or being an anime movie in general, but especially Demon Slayer, because the first season of Demon Slayer, in my opinion, is extremely overrated. People absolutely fucking love it. It's hyped up everywhere. There's merch everywhere, and I do not understand the hype, because yes, the visuals are fucking phenomenal. I will admit that. There's no way I can deny that. The visuals are amazing. But, especially in the first season, the story is extremely boring, forgettable, and mediocre. It is the most generic fucking shonen plot ever. We've got Tanjiro, who is a very boring main character. And yeah, I thought the first season was very boring and forgettable. Because essentially the only thing that in my opinion really shines is the action and the visuals, and in the first season, in the 24 episodes that happened, there wasn't really much of that. But in the movie, however, pretty much from start to finish, it is just constant fucking action, and I really like that, because, as I'm saying, the plot is very generic. It's easy as fuck to follow, and you don't really have to pay much attention. So instead of just presenting all of these plot points, it's just a bunch of fucking action and visuals, and that is what I am there to watch when I go to watch Demon Slayer, essentially. What do you think about that?
I got two perspectives, so let's start with the first one.
Yes.
That one didn't know.
Wait. Before you go, can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
In the first season, Zenitsu was the character that I fucking hated the most because he's a fucking annoying. Like, listen, I've watched like 300 plus anime. He is hands down one of the most annoying fuckers I've ever seen because he doesn't do shit and he's annoying as fuck. And yeah, but in the movie, he was like asleep for like 70% of the time. So basically, he kept his mouth shut, and I thought that was really nice because otherwise he would have fucking ruined the whole movie. Okay, now you can give your opinion.
Okay, first you probably want to score it if you want to give a score.
The score, honestly, I would say is a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It was very enjoyable, especially compared to the first season of the actual anime series.
I got to say actually a 7 for me.
Okay.
Like first perspective. First and foremost, motive-wise for characters, I think I got a bit of the motives which are actually nice because this is the main continuation of story. They actually got a little motive by doing a little smart thing. I can't tell it right now because it worked like that. They didn't reintroduce them, but it worked still. Plus the animation, all that was flawless. Action also super nice. Later on, it's one part where if you're a newcomer, you will be like, what the fuck moment. You'll be like, what's going by? Did this happen?
Yeah.
You don't know why. Even with the series, actually, I will take us a little later in a second. But
okay, so there's a part in the movie which you think that even if you have watched the series, it might be a little what the fuck moment.
Yeah, because I think the characters are explained enough to actually you can watch them, and the story is okay, I guess. It's not boring, I would say, because it's still got an interesting villain. Gotta say, not like he's not like super good, but he's okay. Like I can't actually say so for the most part some negatives because it's you should probably just watch this movie for the animation actually or the action.
Exactly.
Not so much the story.
Yeah, I'd say that goes for the whole series. And like as I was saying before, when I said that I think that Demon Slayer is overrated, like overrated doesn't mean that it's bad. Like it's definitely entertaining to watch. It's just that compared to other, especially shonen anime out there, there are a lot of other anime which has Demon Slayer beat in story, characters, execution. The only thing where Demon Slayer is like above anything else is the visuals. Period.
Yeah. I mean, also, and you also forgot this is actually the first season after the first season. So
that's true.
Yeah, actually, not so much happened. So I think also that's a critical point of the movies. Was like the movie is also like little crippled by it because it's so short into the story.
Yeah.
But also advantage for newcomers, I would say, because not so much happened because they're not like so many advanced things you have to learn. Actually, it's not like this big thing happened in the past. So it's good for newcomers, but bad for like all-time series, like we see in the series.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now we gave our like general thoughts. Should we get into spoilers now?
Let's say second first, like my second part, like when I watched the series after.
Oh, right. Okay, so what? Okay. So you watched the movie without watching the series, and then you went back and watched the series, and then watched the movie. What did you think about it after you watched the series?
A little bit better, like 7.5. I can't actually give it like 1+ because the problem that exists in the first part, I say, it still exists in the some of the problems I had with the movie just keep existing. It was not like answered by the series. All right.
So now it's time to get into some spoilers. All right. So anybody who hasn't seen the movie, right now on screen, if you're watching the YouTube video on screen, there should be one of those things popping up that gives you a timestamp to where you can skip to skip the spoilers. And if you are a SoundCloud listener, I think maybe I'll put like a thing in the comment section, like a skip to this point for no spoilers.
Like, what was that? King Crimson.
Exactly, it will be like King Crimson. King Crimson!
Now we have skipped time,
Yes.
so if you're still here, then you're in the King Crimson's ability. You've seen it right
Exactly.
now.
Exactly. Okay, so
welcome to spoiler territory.
yes,
now.
welcome to spoiler territory now.
So let's start directly with the problem I had.
Okay, go.
Okay, the movie is actually divided into 2 parts.
Yes.
The first part is on the train. It
Yes.
got one main bad guy. He's quite good. They kill him, the classic thing.
Yeah,
But then out of nowhere, this if you've seen the series, it's called the Upper Moon. It's like the big bad. They have explained, I think, 3rd episode or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the second and like 3rd or 2nd rank comes in and just kills the fire lieutenant. And I'm like, why? What? Why?
Yeah.
And like the problem with this
Yeah.
is because they never building up like the upper. We only got to see one of them on screen. We never have building up the other ones. Like he's out of nowhere. I'm here.
Yeah.
And also the fire lieutenant.
Yeah.
We only get to like actually
Rengoku.
talk to him in the train, and he like dies like what is it? 2 hours in. So we got like only like very little time to actually view him as a character. He was like, yeah, I'm here. This is my cool things. Oh no, I'm dead.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So, as you're saying, it is divided into 2 parts, and I think, you see, the biggest problem with this was that the arc that they adapted, like, it's a pretty fucking long arc in the manga. Like, I think it's like 20 chapters or something like that. Like, that is usually enough chapters to fill, like, almost 12 episodes of anime, which is way more than 1.5 hours of a movie. And so, the first part of the arc, the whole train fight with the guy who puts people to sleep, that was executed great. I thought that was really good. Yeah. But then, out of nowhere, the second Upper Moon pops in, and as Hodor says, there has been no fucking build-up to this guy whatsoever. And all of a sudden, he's just on screen. And then the other part, as you said, there's not been a lot of build-up for Rengoku either. Like, we've seen him throughout this movie, but honestly, he doesn't even say much. He just, you just see that he has these epic abilities, and they build him up a little bit when he's put to sleep, and you see him talking to his father and his brother, and like how he had to deal with some family issues.
I would like to point out one thing. I actually liked his character. He was actually quite very good build for so short amount of time.
Yeah. Considering the time, they built him up well, but they didn't build him up well enough for this, like, emotional ending. And it also just felt really random that the second moon came in out of fucking nowhere, right? The only thing that I thought was, like, the fight itself was cool as shit. And I really liked at the end that it would have been extremely cliche if, when he put his sword against his neck, if he had managed to kill the second moon and then die, like, that would have been some fucking cliche shit. The fact that that the fucking villain got away and he died, that was actually, I appreciated that. But still, that whole, you can't even say it's a second half. It was like the last third of the movie. It was very short, and it just happened fast. And I myself, I've read the manga as well. In the manga, both the train part and the whole Upper Moon part, both of those sections are way, way, way more fleshed out. Like, there's way much more build-up. But still, the appearance of the second moon guy is still pretty random. But at least in the manga, Rengoku's character has been built up a lot better, and it's a lot more emotional when he dies.
Also, that about, like, turn demon, like, wait a second, you only just met, like, you're supposed to be like, you're my great rival, you're dead, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, as like, it's like, if you're trying to build a character dynamic between them, you can't have, like, in one fight, and then the one guy die, you must, like, have, they must have met before or something like that, like, something to engage the character.
Yeah, exactly. Not only did the second moon appear out of fucking nowhere, but also, as you're saying, the way that the scene was built up was very similar to, like, when two rivals meet. But these two people had never fucking met each other. And this guy is just coming out of nowhere like, oh shit, do you want to become a demon? And he's like, no. and then that's it. There's no kind of like it was just weird.
I mean, why? As like it was not like, oh yes, he will never actually watched him. It's like, yeah, I heard about you. I want you to become my rival. That's okay, but like, why do you want to become demons? Like, can't you have like a fight before? Like, could have killed him, his sensei or some friend of him, or like, or something like that. Like, have some engagement before, because that was just random. Like, oh yeah, welcome. I want you to join the demons. Like, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it was really fucking weird. But let's see here. Other parts of the movie. So during the whole train sequence, I thought was really good. Like the action was cool. The whole when they were all put to sleep and we got to see inside of their dreams, especially Tanjiro's dream about his family and everything. I thought that was really good. There was only one part which I can kind of complain about there, and that was visuals. Now Demon Slayer is something I watch for the visuals. So when the fucking sleep demon guy, when he merged with the train, and it was like all CGI, I was like, bruh. Like, okay, I can understand that why they had to make it CGI, because like animating that by hand drawing everything, all the tentacles would have probably been a lot of work. But the CGI, like, in general, I hate CGI in anime, but especially in an anime that looks so pretty as Demon Slayer, to just have the CGI, it sticks out like a sore thumb. It was really fucking whack looking.
The CGI was not made for that anime style. Like,
exactly.
Some CGI can actually work if it's like the right style of anime, like how you animate all that. But it did not work.
It did not work at all.
Also, that point with the dream, like when it came to the dream solve, that was like excellent character introduction. Even if like motive and all that, it gave like an idea for people that's not been like watched the series. It was a good way to me. Okay, this happened to the main character. Okay, that explains what's going on for most part.
Yeah, they kind of explained the characters' motives, especially Tanjiro and Rengoku's. I mean, Zenitsu and Inosuke's dreams were a bit more they were just having fun, I guess. Zenitsu was playing with fucking Nezuko, and Inosuke was the leader of the gang fighting monsters. But Tanjiro's dream especially was really good, I thought. And I was going to say another thing that I thought was really, really good. I mean, for me personally, as somebody who's read the manga and also seen the first season before, I didn't really need this explanation, but they actually had a part where I don't remember why, but the Rengoku explains like
breathing.
The breathing techniques.
And that was actually excellent for newcomers, because I didn't know shit about that. It was like, okay, they can do that tricks. Okay, breathing, okay. So explain some things.
Yeah, so he explains to the characters how the 4 or the 5 different elements of the breathing techniques work and all that shit. And for me, as somebody who already knew that, it didn't really matter. But for somebody a newcomer could watch this movie and enjoy it, because the main characters' motives are explained and the abilities are explained. The only really fucking weird thing is when the second moon appears. If you're a newcomer, you have no idea what the hell the second moon even means. And the character, again, as we've been saying, appears out of nowhere. There's no rivalry. He hasn't killed anybody close to Rengoku. He just fucking appears and is like, yo, how you doing, homie? You want to become a demon? It was super fucking weird. But okay, now it sounds like we're just tearing into this movie. I fucking liked it. I liked it a lot. I would like to rewatch it because it was really, really beautiful, and it was well executed, and it was way better than the first season of Demon Slayer. And this has actually got me excited for Demon Slayer Season 2. Now, after the first season of Demon Slayer, I have infamously on TikTok and everything said over and over again, it is really fucking overrated. And honestly, at some point, if Season 2 came out, I was gonna watch it, but I wasn't really hyped for it. Then they announced the movie, and I was like, you know what? I want to watch that, because I want to see these epic visuals in the movie theater. And after the movie, although there were definitely flaws, I'm pretty excited for Season 2
like,
now.
Even if it's like a 7, it's still a 7. It's not like bad.
Yeah.
I mean, like
7 is good. I give it 7.5 to 8.
Like okay, as like 5 is the one between,
Yeah.
So you can still enjoy it, and I think also hopefully the or the one who writes this will improve as an author as the time goes on, because he got he can do good characters. We have shown that.
Yeah.
He can do good fights and all that. He can do a lot of good things. He
Yeah.
just needs, like, I think, time to improve
Yeah.
himself.
But see, the thing, like, okay, as I've been saying, I've read the manga, and like the first season of the anime, as I've said, it's like, considering it's 24 episodes long, there's not a lot of stuff that actually happens, at least not important stuff, and it makes it very forgettable. And contrast that to the manga. I read the manga as well, and the arcs that are covered in the first season, they felt way more important in the manga version. I don't know what the fuck they did in the anime to make it seem so dull, but it is what it is. And I really enjoy the manga series, and I think, especially with the pillars, like, as, for example, Rengoku and the ones that were introduced in the first season, they are good characters, and I think there's a lot of epic shit that's going to happen. If they manage to just not do what they did with season 1 and season 2, whatever the fuck it was, I think it can. I mean, it's already so fucking hyped. It's like one of the best selling anime and manga series at the moment. But still, I think there was a lot of lost potential in the first season, and it is fucking overrated. And hopefully, it will be less. I will think it's less overrated with the second season.
Should we go to now, like, series, so we can, like, not have spoiler territories?
What do you mean series? Oh, talk about anime movies
like,
in general.
No, like, go to Demon Slayer series, because now we gone from spoiler territory, so we need to, like, cut it.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about the Demon Slayer series now.
Yeah, so that we can, like, cut it like a timestamp right now.
Okay, and we're not gonna talk about spoilers in the Demon Slayer series.
No, or should we? That's the question.
Well, maybe.
I don't know. It depends how much spoiler can I even spoil, though? That's...
I don't know, there's not a lot that happens.
That says a lot, guys, okay?
Yeah. Fuck.
I can say some things.
What?
First and foremost, I think this is not so much spoiler, because this is, like, Shonen Troop, like, number 1.
Yeah, Shonen Trope number 1.
And it's all the captains, all the, like, high leaders,
Yeah,
It's like
we've
in
got
Naruto,
those in...
It's like the Yonens.
Yeah. In
One
Black
Piece,
Clover...
it's the Wise Admirals and all that.
Yeah, and in Black Clover it's the fucking captains
And
again.
in Bleach also the captains.
Yeah.
All the captains so far,
Yeah.
I feel like they have the less impact of all the shonen series, actually.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they got, like, oh yeah, look at these captains coming in, like, oh shit, all the Bleach captains.
That's true.
Like Naruto, like they had actually not a quite as strong hitter.
It depended on which one it was. Like, if Kakashi or
yeah.
Guy Sensei came in, you were like, alright,
One
shit's
Piece
about to go
always
down.
like, yeah, oh shit, that comes the Wise Admiral or the
Yeah,
captain.
I don't know how the fuck Oda has done it, but he has such a good way of just, like, making these characters so fucking intimidating. Like, even if you've not seen anything, like, you just look at this character, and I think a lot of it has to do with the art style and how he likes to make these strong characters, like, fucking massive. Like, they're like 4 meters tall or something.
It's also its purpose is to make, like, Luffy so small as possible and the others large to make it more underdog.
Yeah. Anyhow, continue.
Yeah, but the captains didn't have the same impact for me. It was like, okay.
I agree.
It was like, okay, 6 people, like, they don't give me a strong impression what they want. Like, okay, they are standing there. Some captains did a little bit more, but not so much.
Yeah.
And, like, the other, like, what was it? Demons Hunters. They didn't either give me, like, so much, like, a strong opinion of them. It's like, where it's like, okay, that's weak for the most part. What should I think about them? I mean, directly when I think about the other seasons, I think, okay, that's the one doing that stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. So the first, I think the proper name for them are, like, pillars, right?
Yeah, pillar.
So the first pillar we meet is obviously Tomioka. Is that his name?
I think so.
I fucking like Guy Tomioka or something like that. He's the only one that we really, in the first season, really see, like, doing a lot. Then we get introduced to the butterfly girl.
Yeah.
I don't even remember her name. She did some stuff, but she was kind of annoying because she was just, like, getting in the way of the characters. And then we get this scene where all of the pillars assemble, and from the visuals, it looks like it's supposed to be this epic thing, and you're like, holy shit, look at these guys. But I was kind of like, why do I care about these people? Actually, I don't. I don't care about them. Because you haven't given me a reason.
I don't feel like all the like in the Naruto, it's like okay, so Yonen will be your sensei, is like a good important leader. In Bleach, all the captains of the it's the captains of the divisions, like very powerful people. And then we got in One Piece, like, oh shit, this is the powerful people around and all that.
Yeah.
In Demon Hunter, they're like, they don't talk much about the pillar. I think it's like, the pillar exists. That's it.
They don't build them up, and like in Naruto and shit, they kind of assert them from the beginning as like a way higher rank, and they obviously make it clear that the pillars are way higher rank in level, but there's nothing really, you don't see anything really to back that up.
Like, it's like a fight, I think, with two pillars, but it is they never had like, oh shit, look at that, oh enemy, oh I'm strong, and he got like annihilated by one of the pillars. It's like, and when they stood there, it didn't like.
It was like the character designs look badass as fuck, but like, who the fuck are these people?
Like, they didn't give a present because Ragnar.
Yeah.
When we actually get to see him, like for first time, interact with him, then it's awesome.
Rengoku.
Yeah.
Yes.
How he like.
Yeah, then he's dope.
Presents and all that. Then when he was alone on the train, and all that was awesome, because then we got to see actually, okay, he's a pillar. That's why it's awesome, but not the rest.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing is, like, for example, in One Piece or Naruto, they use an example of one character to set the example for the rest. Like, you see one of them and you're like, okay, I don't want to fuck with any of these guys now. But in Demon Slayer, who've read the manga, this isn't really spoilers, but for some reason, unlike pretty much any shonen series ever, they have gone with the approach of introducing them one at a time. So in the first season, it was kind of Guy, Tomioka or whatever. He wasn't really that introduced even. The movie was Rengoku's movie, and the second season looks like it's gonna be a lot about the stone pillar. What's his name? I fucking forgot. But yeah, it's because he's in a lot of the promo.
Two swords. That's
exactly.
How I remember him.
The fucking strong guy with two swords. Because he's been on a lot of the artwork. So if I remember correctly, that's like his arc, his season, where he is like the mentor kind of, and we get to see why he is epic. And I mean, it's an interesting approach because potentially that can make a lot of character development for each individual character, since they're introduced one at a time. But it also makes it so that in the first season you see them and you're like, this is fucking boring. Like, if there's a scene in Naruto or One Piece when you've got like all of these strong characters lined up, even if there's no fighting happening, you're still kind of intimidated and you want to see what happens.
By the presence.
Yeah, you're awed by the presence. But there, it was boring, bro. Yeah. Tanjiro was just talking with the fucking headmaster guy, and they were just standing there awkwardly in the background. Yeah. It was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, also, that's one thing I also hated about Demon Slayer. It was like, in every like other shonen, like Black Clover and all that, they had always the captains and all that. They were very interesting, and they also had very interesting dynamics. Like everyone, like, some characters were mediocre between each other. Some people were like rivals. Yeah, and that affected the story a lot. In Black Clover later on, it was like, the character get wounded, and like, well, shit. One was like, that could not happen. He's my rival. He wouldn't like get wounded
exactly.
For that shit. I will fuck all the guys over that did this to him.
Yeah,
and all like that. Like really, like that didn't happen. The only thing that was character dynamic was between the two captains, like the Butterfly Girl and him. But it was not like that. It was more like, oh yes, hey, I'm following orders. Yeah.
It wasn't like a personal dynamic. It was like one was following orders and one was doing something else. Yeah. There are definitely more dynamics between them later on, but not a lot. And that also is a flaw of this whole introducing them one by one, because they kind of introduce them one by one and they have their arc, and then they're kind of like in the background. Or in the Rengoku's case, he fucking dies, so there's no chance for him to create dynamic with anyone.
Spoiler.
Yes, but okay, but this is still in the spoiler section. Okay. Since we've been mentioning other spoilers as well during this whole time.
What was for example? Also, I think, what was it? You can continue. I must think a little bit.
Continue about what? Okay, I'm gonna continue by saying, Kimi da yo, kimi nan da yo, oshiete kureta.
Oh yeah, now I remember. Okay. a lot of series.
Yeah.
In Naruto, we got Yonen so Sensei. They got like 3 people under them. We get to know and all that shit. In One Piece, the captains or vice always often have like an aide, like a follower, like multiple people under them.
Exactly.
Him. In Bleach, they got the division and people under them.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Black Clover, they got the captains, the members.
Yeah.
But not in Demon Slayer. It's not like, oh yes, I'm under him, and like, oh
That's
shit,
true.
we have an interesting dynamic. He recruited me for this reason. They don't really. It's like the pillars are much more individual. That can work.
They're more individual. Yeah.
Yeah, that can work. But he doesn't use that to his advantage. It's for the most part just, oh yes, we're independent. We don't like do so much. It's just one girl, I think, that gets affected.
Yeah. Yeah, the butterfly girl has her student.
Yeah, but
and then they also get to do some training with the fuck is her name? I can't remember any of these characters' names. See, this is what I'm talking about. But I think one of the reasons that they did that was because, like, for example, in Black Clover, each captain has their team. Asta's relationship to Yami is obviously that's his sensei, that's who he's learning from, and then he interacts with other captains, but instead of it being like a teacher student dynamic, it's more of like a different dynamic. But I think
like uncle dynamic. Oh, I'm fellow.
But I think what Demon Slayer tries to do is that in each one of these arcs, like each arc is one of the pillars arcs, and in that arc it is supposed to be like Tanjiro is the the author kind of wants to give Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu like a teacher or teacher-student dynamic with each pillar.
But that doesn't often work because it's like
yeah, I know, but that's what happens, and like
and of course he needs to cut down the amount of people.
Yeah, and building up to the end fight, he kind of like collects knowledge from each great pillar.
Yeah.
And that's what helps him in the last fight. And that's an interesting approach because you've never seen it done. It could work, it could not work. I don't fucking know. But yeah. All right. I guess. Should we officially end the spoiler section and talk about anime movies in general? Okay, gamers. Spoilers will now end for Demon Slayer.
Let's start with we have got 2 good shonen anime movies.
Yes. So now we're going to talk about now we're going to talk about anime movies in general, both shonen movies and romance, whatever the fuck, just anime movies in general. What makes them good? What makes them bad? Etc. So, who shall start?
Okay, I will actually start with this movie we watched together. My Hero Academia. This is not if you're not seen the movie,
right,
obviously.
The 2 heroes.
This is a spoiler, but will not affect the main story.
Yeah, it's non-canon.
Yeah.
But wait. Before we start talking about movies, should we just explain our positions? Like what we think about...
Sure. Should we? It's a very big topic.
So, like, in my opinion, when it comes to anime movies, they're, like, the safest way to make a good anime movie is to make a standalone movie. It is not connected to a series or franchise. It is an independent movie. For example, a Ghibli film, or like Your Name, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, The Sword of the Stranger, something like that. It's just one single... What do you mean?
Cowboy and Satellite Girl?
Oh, no, that is trash. There are obviously exceptions, but in general, when it's one movie that has its own unique contained story in the movie, that is when the anime movies are as best. Now, what I don't really like, oftentimes, is shonen movies which are based, or shonen movies that go together with a franchise that is a series. For example, the Naruto movies or the My Hero Academia movies, because they are usually not canon. They're basically like a filler arc cramped into a movie, and it usually ends very poorly. Actually, it pretty much always ends really poorly. There's only one example I can think of that is not bad. And then we've got anime movies like Demon Slayer Mugen Train, which is canon. It is a part of the story. It's essentially like season 1.5. That is very good, and we'll get into why that is good as well. And then we've got something which I haven't seen a lot, but it's currently in the works with Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and that is a side story in the universe, which is canon, but it is not about the main characters. Alright, so that is the explanation of kind of, and yeah, those movies tend to be good. That's why I'm fucking hyped for the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, because Jujutsu Kaisen is good, and if it's like a side story, I've already read the side story, it's fucking great, and if they execute it great, it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, what's your opinions?
Yeah, completely right. Like, this is what we have been talking about a lot, actually.
Yeah, me and Hodor have had this discussion so many times.
Yeah, like, a lot of movies actually forget, like, when they try to actually have all the characters in from a filler arc, you got, like, for example, take Naruto. We have Naruto, all his team, his sensei. We got all his other comrades that's come in, other characters, then add new characters. And that's a lot of characters to handle, and that's a problem.
Yes, it is a problem.
Second problem is newcomers will get no shit about the movie. They will not understand, they can't understand because it's a filler to a main story, and it will not be explained well. Third, the story will not affect canon, so you don't really have any investment for it. Yeah.
It's the same as watching a filler arc. Like, people who skip filler, I don't understand why they would watch one of these movies, because that is what it is, filler.
Yeah. I mean...
It is, it's true.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think there exists better investment if you're so desperate.
Yeah.
I can say.
Definitely.
If you know the hints.
Yeah, I know
Watch
the hints.
back in podcast. And
first podcast, you know what he's talking about.
Yeah. But, yeah, if you want to actually have good movies, then must go and choose side stories or build own stories in the universe. Yeah. For example, this is where I talked a lot about, world building. Yeah. One of thing Naruto does not very well, or they have not done it very well, is they have a huge world. They got the hidden village of the leaf, very well explained, and the hidden village of the sand. Yeah. The rest of the village got like little bit, and the small minor village got like nothing.
Almost nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. But they never like have any, like, they could have made a movie instead of like Naruto's, what was it, 11 Naruto movies or something like that?
Yeah, there are so many Naruto movies, and almost there's only one of them that gives anything.
Yeah. So we got like one. We could have instead have a Naruto movie like the second Great Ninja War. There exists like 4 in Naruto. Yeah. Then we could have one in the minor village and see from that character's perspective the entire war, instead of like, okay, let's have our main character go through this little story. Instead, like, use new characters to explore the world. Like,
exactly.
I mean, they build
like Jujutsu Kaisen Zero. Yeah, that is something that would definitely be good, because it would help the world building. It would be interesting. It would be canon, and it could just work to create these kind of world building short stories in movie format. Because when you create these like Naruto movies or My Hero Academia movies, where the main character and the crew goes on these filler adventures, it's like it's too little time, because there's so many characters and you're introducing new villains and shit, and you kind of have to deal with setting up this whole plot and executing it in 1 hour and 30 minutes. It just doesn't work. It falls flat.
So then you must also like set all the limits, because the character must have been someplace. Like, the character must have been here, and he must have disabilities. You limit yourself extremely much by doing that. You know, like, and some way you must also like have some reason why everything is back to canon. Like, this thing makes that everybody forgets what's happening. And
that's my fucking biggest problem with these shonen movies. At the end of them, like Naruto, for example, in every single Naruto movie, he like gets a new fucking overpowered crazy Rasengan. In the My Hero Academia movie, you know, I'm not gonna say what happens, but if you've seen My Hero Academia, the 2 heroes or whatever it's called, there's some crazy ability shit that happens, or like the world gets exploded or something, and then there's always some event that happens that makes the main characters like forget everything that happened, or like somebody has some crazy ability that just resets the universe and then they die, or whatever the fuck it may be. There's always some bullshit that happens right at the end that resets everything back to canon. And so not only is the, like, for example, if you watch a filler arc, although it's technically not canon, they still kind of fit it into the timeline. With the movies, it's like it never fucking happened. Literally.
Yeah, jeez. Like seriously, if you don't invest in movies, like I can only say like extremely few shonen movies actually good.
Yeah, because like the thing that I think falls flat the most is that they have to take so much time to like explain why these characters are on this random side mission, and then they have to set up like usually these shonen movies are like they have to save some princess from some evil person, and then they have to set up who the fuck is this princess, who are these evil people, and either they take so much time to set these characters up that there's no action, or they do not take any time to set them up and you do not care whatsoever.
Yeah, entirely true. I mean, like probably a lot of these characters are actually, I think, interesting in a lot of shonen. Like,
Yeah.
they got I think remember actually have interesting abilities. They could be interesting like villains actually if they had the time to develop, and instead of like spending time with like the 10 extra characters they needed to bring from the the main characters cast.
Exactly. And that is why I think that the Demon Slayer movie is so good. Again, I'm not going to drop any spoilers here, of course, but it is canon. It's like season 1.5. It is expected that you have watched the first season, and everything from the first season, continues. They don't have to set up a new plot line. They don't really have to set up new characters. They just have to give some explanations to who exactly Rengoku is. And overall, that was good because it made it so that they didn't have to waste time on setting a bunch of shit up. They could get into the juice, the meat, action, visuals.
Yeah, I also point out something also like first and foremost, the characters, they had actually quite few for like the shonen.
Very few characters
like,
as well.
They got three. You can technically
there's
say
there's four main characters in them, or I guess technically one main character and then three
like
supporting.
Yeah, but one is like two are like not used.
Yeah, Zenitsu and Inosuke are almost never used.
So they only like two actually who got too much screen time. Then we got like the sensei character, Ragnar.
Rengoku. Yes, not Ragnar.
But Swedish way. Rengoku. We got time for him, and then we got. Is this a spoiler? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I think don't actually. They hinted at him like before.
Who?
The villain.
Yeah,
because they saw him in the series. Like
right. Yeah.
But that's the only characters. The rest
there's
like all the characters. It's extremely few. Like they use all, technically four characters that they have for major screen time. And
the movie takes place over like a night.
Yeah, so
it's like from the start to finish, like in universe, there's like only a couple hours that have passed.
Yeah, and like for the most part, also like we don't need the explanation of where this place is. It's like it's on a train.
I
mean, a lot of time is saved. They don't got to do like explain that this person, explain that. They only explain like the very minimal, and then they got everything finished. So.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff for the movie was already explained in the first season. If you've watched that, like at the end of the first season, they get the briefing. They have to go to the Mugen Train and assist Rengoku. So if you've watched the first season, you kind of already have had like a briefing of shit already. And I mean, it's expected that you've watched the first season since it's canon. It's like season 1.5. But yeah, I think that's fucking great. And then, of course, what you can also do to make a good movie is do independent movies.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Ghibli films. There's two things that are good with these independent movies, like Ghibli films or like Your Name or Weathering with You. Usually those films are like more like 2 hours long rather than the shonen movies that are like 1.5. So there's more time to build stuff up. And then also like it's a short story. When you make an independent film that isn't based on a series or anything, it's like making a normal live action film. You don't have to like explain all of these things that are in the universe in the same way that you have to with like a shonen series film.
You could still probably actually do like a shonen movie series.
You could. Like for example, there's a really good movie that I really like. I think it's called Sword of the Stranger or something like that. It's about a guy in the samurai age, and it's a war against China. I don't remember the exact plot, but it's really good. It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
It's shonen, it's a movie, but it's not tied to some universe. There's not a crazy amount of characters, so it works.
I mean, yeah. The one thing I actually want as an anime movie
Yeah.
right now is the Pokemon series, like probably live action, probably also like all the gyms, like you could like 1 to 3rd gym,
Yeah.
or like 1 to 1st gym, then like 2nd to 4th gym, and like go to like many arc you can
Yeah.
do like to the league, and probably
Yeah.
super cool. That's my hope for a future anime film.
Hell yeah.
Pokemon.
Hell yeah. And then obviously there's the spin-off short stories in universe. For example, we're now getting the Jujutsu Kaisen movie. That would be awesome. And then an example that we two have been talking about in our private conversations is that obviously we're both massive JoJo fans, and a great example of a potential like contained short story would be, for example, if they made a movie out of Purple Haze Feedback, which is a light novel exploring what Fugo does after the events of Part 5. Now, technically, I don't think it's canon, like the light novel, but despite it not being canon, it would still be a really, really fun thing to see in movie format.
Or just a random Yo-Yo movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or just a random JoJo movie about something in the JoJo universe. Just some random kid that gets like a stand or something and just fucks around. Like that would be super fun.
It's Yo-Yo, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Or another light novel that could be adapted is the George Joestar light novel about Joseph Joestar's father. Again, these light novels technically aren't canon, but I would still fucking love to watch those movies because the novels are really good and they're pretty short as well, so they would definitely fit in the span of like a 2-hour movie. So yeah.
I think Oof. Should we take, for example, My Hero Academia, the 2 heroes?
Yeah, sure, we can talk about that.
Because that's the other good movie where I like have a good idea.
Yeah.
Because this one is actually a unique movie, I think, because this is shonen actually takes the classic trope of filler, having a lot of characters, all the bad things, and actually succeeding in comparison to everybody else.
Yeah, so basically, like the first My Hero Academia movie is fucking trash.
Yeah, it's trash.
But the second My Hero Academia movie, it's similar to when they make movies about any shonen anime, you know, the shit that we've been complaining about, but they somehow managed to pull it off. At least, it's not the best movie I've ever seen, but it was entertaining. I liked it. So, you can talk about that. I'm gonna quickly look at how long we've been recording while you talk.
Okay, first and foremost, let's say one thing. Characters. One of the best things this do is actually have dividing the characters' time for everybody, so everybody gets enough time to actually work as characters. This is a very big problem often with other movies, because they got a lot of characters, they can't divide the time right, so different characters like gets like, that character gets a little more time, that gets too little, they can't develop. But they have characters that cameos, like for very short moments, or do a little fight scene, but for the most part otherwise doesn't like, they don't need to actually spend like 10 minutes on one character. They spend
Exactly, because most of them aren't like important to the plot like that. Yeah, and then in that movie they had a they had a main villain, and the main villain kind of had villains under them, and they did a surprisingly good job at giving backstories for all of them. And they were short backstories, but instead of giving this like drawn out thing about like a sad childhood, they just gave the important event in their life that made them do what they're doing.
Well, that was good, because they couldn't have like actually developed the character enough for like your backstory.
Exactly. They like the characters didn't get fully fleshed out, but they managed to give you like quickly show you why they are doing this, like give you a reason to why they're doing what they're doing. Also, I think the main character was actually quite good, like the main villain. Like the main villain was good, and cool ability as well.
Also love the little. I think also as filler, it's one of those best ended fillers. Because how, okay, I don't know if this is spoiler or not, but I will not say it anymore. But the ending got like a plot twist, because it's an extra scene, and we get to know how like this is not why the characters are not in the main plot.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, they actually like, and that's
Yeah, that's
dark.
true. Yeah, that's true. At the end of the movie, instead of like everybody's memories just getting wiped and everything going back to normal, they actually gave a scene where because a lot of times with these movies, you're like, okay, well, if there's this super overpowered villain, why the fuck have they not appeared previously? But they actually gave a scene where they explained why the villains hadn't been able to do anything previously.
Yeah, and I think also adds a little bit to the actually series, because that scene actually, it doesn't affect series, at least, like the movie, but it affects our image of one character.
Yeah, for sure. Even if the movie is technically not canon, I guess the end is technically not canon, but it is still like a visual aid to see how, or to get a better understanding for this character, because even if it's not canon and he technically in the canon didn't say this thing, we now get to know that is something that he could do.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
that's
like,
good.
If you know a crazy man, like if you have a series and he does nothing, or like does things, and then have like a movie, then like, oh shit, I launched a nuke. We know that he's crazy enough now in the main to do that also in the main series.
Exactly. So that was actually really good. I remember when we watched it, I was pleasantly surprised. And also the visuals were really fucking good. The last fight scene was cool as shit. Honestly, I think not just this movie, but My Hero Academia in general just gets so much shit for no reason. Like, it's good. It's entertaining. When there's a new season of My Hero Academia, I'm going to watch it.
I like My Hero Academia, even if I criticized this before. I love the abridged much more, but still, I actually like, because I mean, this is a trick. I will also answer. Often abridged are actually done for good series. They're not done for often bad, or sometimes bad, but for the most part good series. And because it's fans that love the series often.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like it extremely much. Some scenes are very memorable. For example, when Deku actually gets his power. It's like that music and all that, and like it's very hopeful sometimes. Very nice.
And like now for some reason we're talking about My Hero Academia, but fuck it. So I haven't seen the 5th season yet. It's currently airing. I'm gonna watch it as soon as it's done. I'm gonna binge the whole thing. But like, I've seen random clips on like TikTok and stuff. It looks really fucking good. It looks really good. It's literally a fucking training arc, at least thus far, but it looks cool as shit. And I'm looking forward to that. And I've actually even started reading the manga now. And I'm really enjoying the manga. The manga is fucking good.
Also read them. Their side story of sidekicks, was it or not?
No, it was Vigilantes.
Vigilantes. It's an extremely good one.
Yeah. So there's a canon side story for My Hero Academia called My Hero Academia Vigilantes. It's only manga right now. Really, really good, and it follows it's kind of like a prequel. It's not a direct prequel, but it's a side story that happened earlier. And one of the characters, who is not a main character, but a very, very prominent side character, is Aizawa, Razorhead. He has a very close relationship to the main character of this spin-off series, and it actually gives a lot of character development for him. We get to see how he was as a youth, and it gives a lot of, and since this side story is canon, it gives a lot of world building as well. Because
we get also especially America, because they never mentioned America or like one time. But now they got like this special quirk laws in America.
Exactly.
For like it's like the gun laws in the USA.
And also like in My Hero Academia, we are literally following a group of people going to the most prestigious fucking school. In Vigilantes, I think, if I remember correctly, the main character is like a dropout, and he kind of has to deal with the not so good sides of the hero business.
He's like, he's often like also small time people. Like, I'm gonna help you like over the streets. He's a lot more like Spider-Man, I would say.
Exactly. He starts off small.
That's a good example. Another example for me, another movie actually, is, I don't remember exactly, but it's one character in that, the villain especially. This is One Piece actually, Shiki.
Okay, I haven't seen any of the One Piece movies, so I don't fucking know, but you go ahead.
I can't actually spoil too much here, because this is actually important for One Piece later on.
Oh shit, okay.
Okay. This is a question. I don't know how much spoiler it is. Okay, do you know the 4 emperors? This is not a direct spoiler.
I don't think I know the 4 emperors.
Well,
I'm at the end of Skypiea right now.
Okay. You don't remember? You don't even know them yet, or?
I don't even know them yet.
You
I know the
one.
warlords, of course.
You know one of the emperors.
Who?
H. You should know him because.
Ace.
Or was it?
Fire Fist Ace.
Yeah.
Is he one of the emperors?
No, not at all.
Who the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, I'm just asking. Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, because at least Siki has an extremely cool backstory as a character. I can only say that like this. He was in Roger's time.
Okay.
So
all right.
So he was one of part of them, and he was locked away, and he's like, right now in
so
the.
So he's like the same age as like Whitebeard.
Yeah.
All right.
He was in that part of time, and he was locked up in what was it called? The large prison again.
I don't know.
Yeah,
the large prison.
Yeah, it's a very important thing in One Piece. There are all the pirates go to when they're imprisoned, and yeah, he's been there. He releases himself, and he's pretty awesome like that. Okay. I think he exists in the main story, but they're not revealed where he is. So
yeah,
but I can probably tell you in the future someday, hopefully.
Yeah. And I think going back to the whole movie conversation, there is one single Naruto movie that's good, and that is Naruto the Last.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah,
because there is obviously a plot with like a villain and all that kind of stuff, but the main priority of the movie is to develop Naruto and Hinata's relationship.
Yeah.
And because like you see stuff about it like throughout the anime series, but you don't really see a lot of it until the end of Naruto Shippuden, and then they get married, and you're like, what the fuck? But here it takes place after the Great War and before the end of Shippuden, and it kind of like solidifies like when they finally became like an official couple. And I thought it was a really cute movie. Like the main villain and shit, like he was kind of cool. I couldn't really give a shit, but the movie was still good though, because that wasn't the main priority.
You could even argue that's a romance movie.
Yeah, it was basically a fucking romance movie with some action in it. I really liked it, and also, I'm guessing that Naruto the Last is the only actually canon Naruto movie, because it even, like at the end of Naruto Shippuden when they get married, like you don't see that much of the marriage. Like it kind of ends, but then in the movie they give like a way more detailed look at the actual wedding.
Yeah. Also, I got to add also, you've seen the movie, right?
Yes.
It's actually got a very big effect on the Boruto.
Yeah, right. They actually
the lore is in that's told there. It's actually very important to Boruto. It's actually a very canon story because.
Oh right, with the Tensei gun.
Yeah, because he's the character who has it, and like, oh yeah, I'm the big bad, and he has it, and that's explained why, and all that in that movie. So that movie is actually canon. Yeah. In comparison to every other.
And then I think also I haven't seen it, but I'm pretty sure Boruto the movie is canon as well.
Yeah, I think so, because it tells this first like bits.
Yeah, I think Boruto the movie came out before the anime series Boruto came out.
Yeah, I think because the Boruto series is like after the movie, right?
I think the movie is, I don't know when the movie starts in the timeline, but it goes until the fight with Momoshiki or whatever his name is. Something like, I'm not seeing a Red Boruto, so I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I know that that's a fight that also takes place in the anime. And I know that apparently there are a lot of scenes in the movie and the anime series that are like the same. So it's kind of like, you know how like with One Piece there are some of these movies that are like the Great Blue movie or the East Blue movie, and it kind of like compresses East Blue into a movie. It's kind of, I think it's kind of like that. It compresses the start of Boruto into one movie. So instead of watching like 60 episodes, you can watch that movie. I'm not sure. I might be talking out of my ass, but from talking to people who have actually seen Boruto, that's what it sounds like. And apparently that movie is pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, probably because there's a lot of filler in the series. So
yeah.
Also, are you hyped for the Black Clover movie?
Yes, holy shit. Yes, I'm so hyped for Black Clover.
The best part of that, do you know what that is?
What?
They got at least funding for it, you know, before.
Yeah. Facts. And they can I fucking love Black Clover so much.
Yeah.
I mean, my fucking name is a Black Clover reference. And when they decided to end it, I was pretty sad. But it was also for the best, I feel like, because, Black Clover had a rough start, and Studio Pierrot is also working on other shit like Boruto, and unfortunately, shit got the majority of their budget. And I think towards the end of the Elf arc and during this most recent arc that's been going on, the animation got a lot better. There was some fucking cool fights, like Asta and Yami versus Dante. Holy shit, that was fucking... that gave me chills.
I should watch that, because I got not the time.
Yeah, it's so good. Black Clover got so good, and then they had to end it, but I'm glad they ended it, because basically...
Every other anime show would like have a continued with filler.
Yeah, because they caught up to the manga, and instead of doing a bunch of filler, they ended it, and they're hopefully going to come back in a couple of years. And I think that that's really good, because not only will they let the manga get a head start so they can skip filler, but also I think that will make it so that they can have a lot more money and time to spend on each episode. Like, when it comes back, I don't know how they're going to do it, if they're going to make, like, one episode every week as they've been doing, or if they're going to do it in seasons. Although I like having a new episode every single week for several years, I would like it to be in seasons, because when it's in seasons, it's a great way to prevent filler, and also there's way more money and time dedicated to each episode.
Yeah. Also, I would actually want that instead of like continuing now. I would like to they would go back and redo a lot of episodes, like anime wise.
You want them to like?
Yeah, because
that's true.
I mean, like, one of the things I actually would hope for, even like normally, like having a movie for a story is like bad thing. For me, it actually would be an extremely good thing if they had the movies of the first parts. Yeah, because a lot of the shit was like I mean, I can understand why you don't watch Black Clover, because how shitty it looked.
The start was very rough. Yeah. I can admit, as a Black Clover fan, the start was rough, but it gets so fucking good. Yeah.
They got the animators are very dedicated. Like, they overworked. Like, they got not enough money to do animations. Like, the final fight with what was it, the devil? Yeah, that fight was like pushed. Like, needed like 24-hour work.
Yeah, it was crazy, and it was a good ass fight. But speaking of the Black Clover movie, though, as that's what we led into this, we just know it's a Black Clover movie. We know nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it going to be one of these? Is it going to be a canon movie? They might make it a canon movie, because they've ended right as this arc is starting to pick up. Like, they've laid down the foundations for the arc. They've started hyping it up. We even got the initial like fights, and it's getting fucking intense. And then it ended. So maybe this movie is like an actual sequel. Yeah. If that's the case, that would be fucking awesome. Because I just want to see more of the plot. Or it might be a non-canon movie. One thing is sure though, it is about the main cast, because Asta was in the promotional footage. So I guess we'll just have to see. If they do make it one of these fucking filler movies, I hope they manage to pull it off, because I really like Black Clover. I want a good movie.
But hopefully they have learned the lesson from the big free. Yeah. Like how to not do anime movies.
Fucking hell. Hopefully, because if they fuck it up, I'm gonna be kind of pissed. But when that releases, I fucking hope they show it in the movie theaters, because the thing is, here in Sweden, like, when anime movies release, it's not always sure that they're gonna show them in the movie theaters here. Only like the most hyped up shows, like Demon Slayer, its movie the fucking Demon Slayer movie came to Sweden like over a year after it premiered in Japan, because there's so much they need to clear, they need to make the subtitles, they need the licensing and all that shit.
It's super. If you live in Europe and watches anime, it's super city to watch legally. Honestly.
Yeah, watching legally, especially anime movies, is so shit in Europe, because they always come like over a year later, and like, fuck. Like, I remember when Weathering with You came out and all that stuff. But yeah, it's like, I really want it to come to the movie theater because I want to be able to watch in the movie theater. I have a feeling it might not though because it's not as big as like Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia.
Though you must also remember that maybe COVID's over though. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
If COVID's
remember how many people watched Demon Slayer? It was like it was free of us.
Yeah, when we were in the movie theater, we were 3 in a party, and there were like 4 other people in the movie theater.
So 7 people watched Demon Slayer.
Yeah, but that was obviously COVID's going on, so a lot of people don't want to.
I mean,
and then also we watched it like 2 weeks after the premiere.
Yeah, I think the mall is, if you go to the mall, that's the problem. But actually walking in and watching the movie is actually not so big. Thing. You can't actually, probably not big, because it's extremely few people. Probably, I mean, you can probably watch the movies and get away with it. It's just the mall that's dangerous.
Definitely. So yeah, well, we'll fucking see what happens with that. Damn, bruh. I'd like to see Black Clover on the big screen, though. That would be sick.
Yeah, and the best part is probably the animation budget, probably. Top of top. So you can actually see all the animation fights because.
Yeah, the budget is probably going to be a lot better than it was for the series. So yeah, fuck. I'm hyped for that. Yeah. Hope they make it good.
Though we'll wait.
Actually, some anime movies that I just realized that are actually really good. First of all, we got Girls in Panzer, Das Finale. So they made like 2 seasons, and then the final they made into movies. But instead of cramping the final arc into 1 movie, they're making like 4 or 5 movies. So essentially, instead of looking at it as movies, you can kind of look at it as like a series, as a new season, where instead of having like 12 episodes, they've got 5 episodes, and each episode is like 1 hour long.
It's an arc, pretty much.
Yeah, so they've, instead of cramping 1 arc into 1 movie, they've made it into like 5 movies or long episodes. So that's fucking good. And then also, the Gintama movies. I don't know if you've seen Gintama.
I've not seen Gintama, but I know
first of all, Gintama in general is just fucking amazing. So it is the best comedy anime out there. So basically, Gintama is an anime and a manga series which kind of parodies a lot of Shonen Jump, and it is so fucking good. And those movies are good. They're hilarious. They've got amazing comedy, and they just work. Yeah. Because Gintama and all of the I'm pretty sure all of the movies, just like the Demon Slayer movie, they are canon. They've adapted single arcs into movies. So the movies are kind of like season 1.5 and 4.5 kind of ish, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's fucking good. Yeah. What else to talk about?
I don't think so, actually. We got through like the most important movies and a little bit of the series and all that.
Yeah.
Should we actually go into the podcast Q&A?
Yeah, we could do some Q&A right now. Let's do that. Let me just check how much we've got left. Or how long we've been recording. Alright, we've been going for 1 hour and 8 minutes. Do we want to do a Q&A this episode, or do we want to do next episode just like a fucking long ass Q&A session?
I don't know.
Because we could wrap this episode up here. We can talk about one more topic, and then next episode, the whole episode, we can just deep dive into Q&A questions. Because if we're doing a Q&A now, we'll basically just talk about like the very few questions and on a surface level. So let's just do that. I'm going to set the timer for like 20 minutes, and then we'll wrap it up. But what do you want to talk about now?
We can talk about shonen, I guess, like
shonen anime.
Yeah, like right. Powerful figures. You know, like what we talked about before, pillars. Right. You know, like captains. Like what makes impressions? You know.
What makes impressions?
Because the first impression is Kakashi, Goyo, and what was else? Like a lot of them have is like owning another person. Like, oh yes, look at me, I'm kicking their ass. Like no problem. Yeah, this is like, oh, this is easy.
I think one of my favorite, like one of those strong people, now that you said him, Gojo, is so good. And I think they set him up in a super good way, because in the start, we're introduced to him, we get to know that he's strong as fuck, and at some point he, and directly in the start, he fights, this is Jujutsu Kaisen spoilers.
Yeah.
But he fights, or he tells Yuji to bring out Sukuna.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to have some fun. And he fights Sukuna like it's nothing. It's fucking hilarious. And it also lets us know in the first episode, alright, this guy's strong as fuck. Then, later down the line, when he fights the volcano head guy,
he like shows off his ability, like,
holy shit, bruh. That is when, okay, so already at the start, we know that he's strong. But then after that, it's like, bro, this guy is fucking cracked. That fight is insane. Like, at first, when he's fighting him, and it looks like they're on evil terms, it's like, yo, this guy's super strong. He's fighting this fucking volcano guy on equal terms. And then he's like, alright, let me go get my student so we can watch this. And then he brings Yuji there and he's still fucking vibing. And then he's like, alright, it's time to stop fucking around. And he uses his fucking infinity expansion inside of the other guys. It was so fucking crazy. Like, throughout the fight, you constantly thought he was stronger and stronger.
But then it's really like, oh yeah, I allow this to happen. I allow this height. Oh, look, this is why you could never. It's like, oh shit, that's the reason? Oh no, it was like...
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that fight is so funny and good because throughout the fight, like the fight goes in several stages. And each stage just shows that Gojo is even stronger than you thought he was.
Yeah.
First he's fighting this guy on equal terms, then he's doing it while protecting Yuji, and then he's like, fuck this, I'm done playing around, and just goes insane. And when he does that, like the volcano head guy, he literally cannot do shit. It was so fucking good. Man, I fucking love Gojo. Gojo is so epic. But that was a fucking great impression.
Yeah. I mean, Kakashi, his impression was like kicking his students, like being less serious until like the mission
Sabusawa.
In the wave. Yeah,
the Sabusawa fight.
And like in One Piece,
we
would say like good impression like there.
Ace.
Like,
maybe I don't know.
I don't actually. Think
I haven't gone so far.
But in One Piece, I don't think it actually improves so much for fighting. It's more like I'm here. It's more like less fighting and more like other things, like impressions, like, oh yes, this is why I'm doing this. Like, Luffy gives a sort of impression. It's not because he's super strong, but because it's like, I will be king of the pirates, like that.
Yeah,
it's a lot more like voice, like he can
like
he
in
can
their
convince
actions,
people,
rather than like their fighting ability. Yeah, and then like in like Black Clover, So, like, a lot of these shows, like, for example, in Naruto, once Kakashi is established, and you get to know that, like, Guy Sensei and these guys are, like, on a similar level, then automatically you get respect for Guy Sensei. Oh. And then, obviously, Guy Sensei backs it up. But then, also in Black Clover, the first, Asta and them, Asta and Yuno, they go to the the capital, they do the entry exam, and then Yami, he doesn't show off like his superiority with like some crazy fight. He does that later on, of course, but just the way he acts, like he acts so nonchalantly, like he acts like, I'm so fucking strong, I can act a fucking fool and nobody can say anything because they can't do anything to me. And like when he picks Asta and he like jumps down and he's all menacing, like it was so good. And then you automatically from that, like, all right. Although the other captains don't act like him, they are still on the same level that they could act like him because nobody can fucking touch them.
Do you remember those two captains I said was rivals in Black Clover?
Yes.
Yeah, they have a shin, like they show their magic power and like they form behind them. It's like and that, for example, they just show the power. They don't need to actually like kill somebody. They only need to like make the impression that, oh shit, they're extremely big. The main character extremely small in comparison. Yeah.
And then later on, of course, all of the captains have crazy fucking fights. And they even have that one episode where all the captains fight each other. That was some good ass shit. That was fan service. That was fucking fan service because it didn't do anything to the plot, but it was still canon, and it was only there because people wanted to see these fucking OP characters fight each other, and it was so fucking good.
Also, one thing I love about Black Clover is just that every captain is not like, oh shit, I'm staying behind level, like, oh no, I'm not leveling up while everybody's leveling up, and like, oh no, everybody's
the captains are leveling up as well.
Yeah, it's like every captain is like, oh shit, I'm getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
In Naruto, it's like Guy and Kakashi is the only ones leveling up. The other ones is like, oh,
and honestly, like Guy and Kakashi don't level up that much until like the end.
Shippuden when they.
Yeah, like when Kakashi finally first when he awakens his Mangekyo, and then when he gets both the Sharingan at the end, and like when Guy Sensei opens the 8 gates and all that shit. That was fucking epic.
Yeah. Guy Sensei is one of the most epic characters.
Yeah, Guy Sensei is so fucking lit.
When Madara just like, oh, you're the strongest man.
Yes. Yeah, he got declared the strongest taijutsu user by Madara.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, you know his real shit.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen until like the end of the show.
Yeah, but even then, it's
but even
that's
then,
one of the best moments of the end. Like.
Yeah, the war arc overall in Naruto is kind of like, but there are some really fucking epic moments in it.
The ending, I think, was too long. Like, it's like,
and there's also a lot of filler inside of the arc, which is fucking whack.
They could probably like cut it like 100 episodes down.
Yeah, definitely. But damn, like, this is fucking great, bro.
And they could also cut out one character.
Oh, yes. I think we know who we're talking about. But honestly, okay, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about now, but I think this is the first podcast where we've just like been talking about anime.
Yeah.
Because the 2 previous episodes we were talking about like life stories and shit like that. Now, finally, we're living up to the name. We're talking about anime and shit, and it's a lot of fun.
It took only 3 episodes.
Exactly, it took 3 episodes to go full weeb mode, and the next episode will probably be less weeb mode again because we're going to be doing Q&A.
Viewers.
True. But hey, we're here to talk about whatever the fuck we want to, and in this episode, we were talking about the movies and all of that shit. So yeah, do you think we should wrap it up here?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. It's Okay.
So what is the final verdict on anime movies? If you're gonna summarize everything we've been saying shortly.
First, we must divide all the movies in different parts. The standalones, the series of shonen, and
and the side stories in shonen. Yeah.
The standalone movies, for the most part, good. We got some bads. One extremely bad. We can take up this first because we watched this together.
Yeah.
And our class did.
Yeah, we had to go to like a film festival for indie films in like 7th grade or something.
It's called Cowboy and Satellite Girl. It's one of the worst movies ever seen.
Yeah, it was so fucking bad.
If you watch that, you will like, what the fuck is going on? I don't understand. What is happening?
Yeah.
It's not even like a symbolic film. It feels like...
It's just fucking trash. That's what it is. It is a symbolic film. It's a symbol for fucking trash.
Yeah, I mean, like other movies can have symbolic, like you don't need to. They don't say anything, but you can understand them still.
Yeah.
But this didn't. But for most part, good movies and extremely good movies.
Yeah.
Then we got the clash shonen like that.
Yeah.
And like filler, like for the most part, nearly all of them is filler.
Yeah. If a movie is a filler movie,
then it's bad. If it's not like
mostly.
Expectations exist, and some characters in them can actually be very good. Like some villains, some other characters can be good, but they hopefully will get used in the shonen series instead of like being rotten behind. Yeah, leaving the concept there.
But if a shonen series movie is canon, like Demon Slayer, Mugen Train, or like the Gintama movies, they can be pretty good.
Yeah.
Because it leaves less room for explanation of random bullshit and more time for the juice, the meat, the good shit. And then, of course, we've got the side stories. Now, are there even any fucking examples of side story movies?
Why can't like a shonen just make a side story?
Yeah, so when we're saying that side story movies are good, like, we don't fucking know, but it just seems like that would be a good way to make a movie, because you can contain it one story without having to like make shit
Yeah.
confusing, and also you can use it for world building.
The Jujutsu Kaisen film
Yeah.
is like a prequel.
Yeah.
It's
adapted from a prequel manga. And the manga is fucking good.
The main character there, he doesn't know about Jujutsu in the start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we will learn again Jutsu from his perspective.
Exactly.
It's the same at My Hero Vigilante.
Yeah.
Because there they explain like a little bit about, how the world works and all that.
Yeah. And because of that, like in the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie, newcomers should be able to watch that without problem, because the same kind of thing that happened with Yuji, where he has to learn about how everything works, the main character there has to learn about how everything works as well. And hopefully, I mean, since MAPPA is making it and it's a movie, they might cut out some of those details, because I guess they expect people to have already seen the first season. But still, I'm guessing there should be enough information there for newcomers to be able to understand what the fuck's going on.
Because the train movie, like Demon Slayer, it's still a good movie, but it will not actually introduce you to Demon Slayer so good.
Yeah, exactly. But that's because it's a continuation.
Yeah, hopefully, Jujutsu Kaisen will instead actually make that movie will actually be extremely popular. A lot of people see it and then watch Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah. And another example for a good potential spin-off movie like that would be fucking My Hero Academia Vigilantes, as we were talking about, because in that series, again, we've got a new main character who has to understand how all of this hero shit works once again. And yeah, that could be good.
It was a bit fun to also talk about My Hero Academia as like world building sometimes.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Some interesting back points, for example, that My Hero Academia is in the future. It's not in 2020.
Yeah.
It's like 2100, and the reason why they can't go to the moon because the superpower came and everybody was like in a state of chaos, pretty much, like in a dark age.
Exactly.
So it's a lot of dark shit in My Hero Academia that don't reveal often, like in the background.
Like we tried to make a podcast episode at one point that was like about world building, and we scrapped it, but we'll try to do one again, a bit more structured. And then we'll talk about that. But yeah, this has been a fucking fun podcast episode.
Plus we'll probably just talk about this like randomly, like right now.
Yeah. But hey, it's time to wrap this episode up. I've had a lot of fun. Have you had fun?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we've had fun talking about this. So I don't know. So the previous two episodes have been completely just random shit that we felt like talking about. Like we've just started recording with no plan and just seen where it went. Here, we came in with a plan, and that plan was to talk about Demon Slayer Mugen Train and anime movies in general. Now, as this is the first official structured episode we've released, it may have flaws. But let me know, or let us know, what you think. As always, all feedback is greatly appreciated. Whether it's negative or positive, it will always help us get better. And yeah, if you want to see more episodes like this where we more like deep dive into a certain topic, then please let us know, because we would be more than willing to do that. But if you thought this was fucking trash and you just want to hear us talk about random fucking stories that happen in real life, then we can do that as well. It's kind of up to you guys, or it's a dynamic. It's what you guys want to hear about and what we want to talk about. We saw the movie. We wanted to talk about it because we talk about this shit all the time regardless. But anyhow, thank you guys so much for watching the Hanime Fan Club. I've been your host, Shpimpasta, and with me today has been
Hodor.
Exactly. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.